Hello everyone, and welcome to another video in our educational series on Excel VBA. I'm thrilled to have you join me on this learning journey, and I'm particularly excited about this topic because it's incredibly practical and will enhance your capability to work with text strings in Excel. First, we'll learn how to use the replace function in VBA to substitute words or characters in a string, an invaluable tool for automated text modifications. Next, we'll dive into the art of removing unwanted characters, and then we'll look at how the trim, ltrim, and rtrim functions can help us clean up our text strings by removing extra spaces. Following this, we'll delve into the left, right, and mid functions that allow us to extract specific parts from a text string. Then, we'll get to grips with combining or concatenating different strings using the AND operator in VBA, allowing us to create new and meaningful sentences. Finally, we'll learn how to change the case of text in Excel with lcase, ucase, and string convert functions, an essential feature for standardizing your text strings. I believe you'll find these techniques extremely useful for your Excel tasks, helping you work more efficiently and effectively. So let's dive straight in. Great, let's proceed to our first code demonstration. As you can see, in the cell A1, we have a sentence that reads, $#$# hello YouTube. My name is Tom $#$#. Our objective is to manipulate this text in various ways using Excel VBA. The first operation we will carry out is replacing words or characters in this string. Now take a look at the subroutine I've written here, titled Replacing Words or Characters. Inside this subroutine, we have a single line of code. What this line does is pretty straightforward. It utilizes the replace function, a built-in function in VBA used to substitute specific parts of a text string. The replace function takes in three arguments: the original text string, the text we want to replace, and the text we want to use as the replacement. Here, we are telling VBA to take the string from cell A1 of sheet 2, replace the word Tom with the word John, and then store the result in cell A2 of sheet 2. Let's run this subroutine now and see what happens. As you can see, the sentence in cell A2 now reads, $#$# hello YouTube. My name is John $#$#. The word Tom has been successfully replaced with John, just as we intended. This is a very handy function for when you need to substitute specific words or characters in a larger text string. Great, let's move on to the next code block where we will remove certain characters from our text. This code block is titled Removing Characters. Take a look at this line of code in this subroutine. At first glance, you'll notice this is similar to the previous example. We're still using the replace function. However, this time, we're using it to remove a certain character sequence from our string. Specifically, we're aiming to remove the character sequence $#$# from our text. We do this by specifying an empty string as the replacement. An empty string in VBA is simply a string with no characters. When we replace $## with an empty string, we are effectively removing those characters from the original text. Let's run this subroutine and check cell A3 of sheet 2. As you can see, the sentence in cell A3 now reads, Hello YouTube, my name is John. We've successfully removed the unwanted character sequence. However, our sentence is still not perfectly clean. Notice the extra spaces before and after the actual text. Great, let's move forward and clean up those extra spaces with the help of VBA's string manipulation functions. Our next subroutine is called Trimming Strings. In this subroutine, we have three different functions: trim, ltrim, and rtrim. First, let's look at this line of code. This line uses the trim function to remove all leading and trailing spaces from the text in cell A3. It then places the cleaned up text in cell A4. The trim function is great for tidying up text strings where you have unnecessary spaces at both ends. However, if you only want to remove spaces from one end of the text, you can use the ltrim or rtrim function. The ltrim function removes leading spaces, that is, spaces at the start of the text string. Here, leading means on the left. If we ran the commented out line of code, it would remove the spaces before hello, but leave the trailing spaces after John. On the other hand, the rtrim function removes trailing spaces or spaces at the end of the text string. If we ran the commented out line of code, it would remove the spaces after John, but leave the leading spaces before hello. Once we run our trimming strings subroutine, the text in cell A4 should be a clean sentence with no extra spaces at either end. As you can see, it works perfectly. This is incredibly helpful when working with strings of text that need to be formatted consistently. Excellent. Now let's delve into extracting parts of the text string. The next subroutine is called extracting substring from the left. Here, we're using the left function. This function takes two arguments: the string you want to extract from and the number of characters you want to extract from the start of the string. Basically, we're telling VBA to take the first 5 characters from the left side of the string in cell A4 and put this new string into cell A5. Now, let's run this subroutine. As you can see, the cell A5 contains the word hello, which is the first 5 characters of our sentence in cell A4. Moving on, let's see how we can extract a substring from the right end of a string. The subroutine, called extracting substring from the right, uses the right function, which works similarly to the left function but starts from the end of the string. In this line of code, we're extracting the last 4 characters from the string in cell A4 and placing it into cell A6. So after running this subroutine, we find the word John in cell A6. Lastly, we're going to extract a substring from the middle of our text string using the mid function in the subroutine, called extracting substring from the middle. The mid function is another handy tool for string manipulation in VBA. It allows us to extract a portion of a string from any position we specify. Here's how it works. Look at this line of code. We're telling Excel to take the text string in cell A4, start from the 7th character, and then extract the next 7 characters. After running this subroutine, if you look at cell A7, it contains the word YouTube. This is the part of our original sentence that started at the 7th character and spanned 7 characters. It's a very useful function when you need to extract specific parts from a text string based on their position within the string. Now that we've explored extracting parts of a string from the left, right, and even the middle, we'll now explore how to join or concatenate these strings together to create a new, meaningful sentence. Let's move on to the next subroutine called concatenating strings. This subroutine uses the ampersand and operator to combine different strings together. Here we've taken the words hello, John, and YouTube and joined them together into a new sentence. Basically, this line of the code takes the values from cells A5, A6, and A7 and concatenates them together with additional string, in this case a word likes. We're also adding a comma and space. After running this subroutine, we can see that cell A8 now contains the sentence, hello, John likes YouTube. Pretty neat, right? Alright, let's delve into our last segment of this tutorial. Changing the case of strings. In VBA, there are 3 main functions we use to change the case of text strings. They are lcase, ucase, and string convert function. Starting with the lcase function, let's look at this line of code. We are taking the string in cell A8 and applying the lcase function to it, which transforms all characters in the string to lowercase. After running the subroutine, if we inspect cell A9, we'll see that our original string is now entirely in lowercase letters. Next, we use the ucase function in a similar way. The ucase function does the exact opposite of lcase. It transforms all the characters in our text string to uppercase. After running this line, we find that cell A10 contains the uppercase version of our string. Lastly, we use the string convert function with the VB proper case constant. This command takes our text string and converts it into proper case, meaning the first letter of each word is capitalized, while the rest are in lowercase. Check cell A11 to see this result. And here you go. As you've seen in this tutorial, string manipulation is a powerful tool in VBA, especially when dealing with text data that comes from different sources. You might encounter situations where your data doesn't have a standard format. Some texts could be in uppercase, others in lowercase, or a mix of both. In short, these string manipulation functions are extremely valuable for data cleaning, data transformation, and enhancing the overall readability of your data. They can save you a significant amount of time that you would otherwise spend manually correcting and formatting your data. As you continue to explore and learn VBA, you'll discover even more ways to leverage these functions and enhance your productivity. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you use these functions, the more comfortable you'll become with them, and the more effectively you'll be able to utilize them in your tasks. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials. Happy coding, and I'll see you in the next video.